Over to you guys.
Thanks so much, Sophie.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. So my name is Dylan,
I'm Connor.
and so we are brothers, and we're also co-owners of the Boardwalk Board Game Lounge, Boardwalk PTBO, and so we sort of came to this from two different directions. My background is all in education. I was an outdoor educator for years. His background is as a chef. He's a Red Seal chef and has loads of experience in that way. And so the Boardwalk Board Game Lounge, the idea is a bridging of our two skill sets by creating a space for people to come and play board games and hang out and those kinds of things. If anyone's been to any board game cafes in other cities, like Snakes and Lattes in Toronto, the Loft in Ottawa, those kinds of places, you might have some perspective of what we're talking about. But in the off chance that you haven't, I'll give you a little bit of background. The idea is you come and you pay a cover fee, and included with that cover fee is access to a library of board games that are familiar, nostalgic ones from your childhood, as well as new, modern board games as well. And in addition to having that access to that library, you have access to our team who helps you pick a game if you've never played any of the games, helps you decide what you want to play, teaches you how to play it, sets it up, takes that hassle out of it, so that you can get right down to playing the game as quickly as possible without trudging through boring rules manuals. So that's sort of the idea. Now, while you're playing those games, we'll have food and drink from like shareable snack stuff to like sandwiches and those kind of like simple lunch type things, as well as desserts and that kind of stuff. And then drinks, we'll have coffees and teas and hot chocolates, all of that great stuff, as well as our intention is to be licensed so that you can get a beer or whatever your poison is to have a drink while you're playing games and hanging out. The idea is to create that sort of complete experience, including a retail section. So if you discover this game that speaks to you, you don't need to go and remember to look it up on Amazon and order it. You can buy it on your way out. That's sort of the whole package. Now, presently, we do not have a physical location where we operate out of. Outside of our bedrooms. But what we do is we go to cafes, restaurants, venues. We've been at the Kaylee on campus here, as well as in the next two businesses you're going to hear from. So doing different events there, with the idea of taking that board game cafe experience on the road, traveling to different locations, so people can come out and play games in a public space, games they've never heard of, games they want to try before they buy, all of those kinds of things. We've done special events, like New Year's, we're doing a Valentine's Day one, all those kinds of things, as well as every 2 weeks we're at Sweet Spirits on Friday nights. So lots of different sorts of things like that, from regular casual ones to actual events. Our marketing efforts thus far have largely been social media based, as I'm sure you would have guessed. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a little bit that. We've also done some event-based marketing with open streets festivals like Peterborough Pulse, and fundraisers like the CNIB Night Steps and all those kinds of things, where we have giant board games that we built and we bring, and so that kids and friends and families and whoever can play giant Kerplunk and giant Bananagrams, and we have a giant deck of cards, giant Operation, all sorts of different fun games. And so those are sort of the two main focuses for the marketing that we've done, other than through partnerships with the businesses that we host our events in. Am I missing anything?
Not specifically, you're killing it.
Cool, great, thank you. Wow. So that's kind of it. That's sort of who we are. I guess we'll take questions and we'll take applause and then we'll take questions.
Everybody's fine.
Questions?
Yeah.
have to do a
Physical location, how do you decide your cover fee? How much is it?
It's a great question. So if you didn't hear, the question was physical location, how do we decide our cover fee and those kinds of things. There's a couple sources that we've used. First is we've been looking at what the trends are across the industry, right? A bunch of board game cafes with the minimum wage increase have just increased their cover fees as well. So we use that to sort of give us some perspective and some guidance. Otherwise, I mean, we see our cover fees as a principal part of our revenue, with the food and drink being secondary to that. So as a result, you know, we look at what our expenses are, how many people we reasonably think we're going to get based on the turnout we've had at different events, and use that to craft it. And we're currently sitting around the $6 to $8 range, potentially a little higher than that depending on the nature of the event, but that's sort of where we're sitting based on all those factors. Of course, once we have a location and we know a little bit better what the specific expenses are, it'll be easier to determine that completely.
In terms of like with outsourcing your locations like that, is there some sort of agreement in terms of a collaboration fee? Like, is it similar where like if a concert is happening, a band will rent out a space? Do you rent out the space or do you share?
Generally speaking, with the locations, with the partnerships we've struck, we just accept the cover charge, and the location takes the food and drink sales.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's sort of how we divided it. Now that being said, for our Valentine's Day event, we're using a different model where we are charging a ticketed fee in advance that includes like some drinks and food as well as the cover charge, right? So it's more of like a ticketed package that we are dividing in half. Not in half, but we're dividing, yeah.
So long term, are you guys planning on like opening up your own venue, or do you want to just keep like renting out like different locations?
Long term, even medium term, I would say our goal is to have our own venue. You know, we're looking for that right fit, and in the meantime, like, I mean, we're very happy with all the relationships we've built with the businesses that we partner with, and I'd say that even if they weren't in the room in front of me. We're very, very happy, and we're enjoying like being able to do different things and using that almost as an advanced marketing tool for when we've opened up a location ourselves.
I know you guys said you were interested in making a community, and you guys are mostly on social media. Have you guys yet monetized the traffic to kind of your social media platforms? I know in like Toronto and some of the other businesses, they'll do like almost commentating and connecting with small businesses as well, and then doing ad revenue as well as routing. So if you don't have a game, like routing to Amazon and using the actual, I guess, routing packages being paid by those companies or other companies as well, if you're creating a community that comes to like, I guess, your websites and Instagram, is that something you guys are open to or haven't explored yet? Or
Definitely something we're open to. Yeah, not something we've explored though.
okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Do you experience a conflict of interest setting up with these other cafes since you eventually plan on putting up your own competing cafe?
We don't perceive our cafe to be competition to most of these businesses because we're providing a curated experience, and our food is going to be secondary to that.
Yeah, we're a cafe and a restaurant in the same way that a bowling alley is. Nobody goes to the bowling alley for dinner, but while you're there, you grab a beer, you grab some fries, and that kind of a thing.
That's a good explanation.
Yeah.
For your when your demographic, do you see like mostly families, or do you see kids? Like you say, you want to be licensed. Do you see mostly mid-20s, or like what kind of?
So the answer is yes. Like, I mean, we have a really wide variety. Typically, our evening events, specifically like Friday nights and things like that, are the young adults, right? Like the sort of 18 to 30, 35 demographic in there, college university students, recent graduates, those kinds of things. Whereas when we've hosted events on weekends and on Saturdays and stuff, we tend to get more of a family-oriented crowd.
And that's your goal
Yeah.
going forward, is to target both?
Yeah.
Well, we have a unique platform in that our activities can be equally fun for like a 6-year-old as they would be for an 80-year-old, right? So we don't specifically have one customer segment that we're chasing, right? We want to be comfortable for everyone while focusing on everyone equally.
Right. But those sort of two like
Yeah.
frames that you identified, that sort of young adult looking for a night out, and the families are really the two sort of demographics that we see as our primary, right? With like enough comfort for everybody outside of that.
Do you find a price difference? Do you like find that like your cover fees might be different between those two demographics?
No, it's going to be one cost for everyone. And even then, like, as far as families go, we're still going to be the most cost-effective activity in town. We're going to be a good deal less expensive than going to the movies, going bowling, playing laser tag, going axe throwing, whatever will be less expensive.
I guess from another side, do you guys have any outreach or communication with kind of like small, I guess actual board game developers, so almost just kind of spreading the influence as opposed to the customer base, so using their networks as well, and then having certain days on your calendars to almost promote, I
Good
guess, small
question.
independent developers?
It's a great question. So we've done some partnering with little indie developers, or little developers, publishers, all those kinds of things. We have some fairly strong social media traction with those companies. But then occasionally we've hosted a tournament, for example, that we did in partnership where they provided all the prize support and those kinds of things. They provided 20 copies of the game for us to run the activity with. And then we just took care of the actual running of the tournament and then did some cross promotion together with them, as well as like a board game convention that happens in town as well. In the back.
You mentioned that food and drinks were secondary, but with being a chef, is there any type of way that you're going to try and make that an important part of your business or diversify yourself from other businesses?
Well, it certainly will be a critical aspect. Like, I don't anticipate us being able to survive without food and drink sales, but it's not where we anticipate the majority of our revenue coming from. That said, I am very, very locally minded and will actively pursue being a fixture of clean eating in Peterborough. If that answers your question. If it doesn't, please elaborate so I can clarify.
And also strategically, I mean, our intention is that our food service is good enough that it could be standalone, but it just so happens that it's secondary to the main purpose of our business.
Okay, we have to wrap up. I think
Sorry.
you had one more
Last
question.
What are you looking to achieve in like getting a social media, like, what are you looking to achieve that we
Next.
can help you with?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, the in terms of metrics and those kinds of things, obviously things like increasing our followers and our reach and those kinds of things. But the other side is we really want to see that converting to more people showing up at our events. We've sold out one of our ticketed events, and we have turned people away at one of our non-ticketed events because we were at capacity.
So more sales.
So we want more sales. Yeah, we want to see more people coming.
Okay,
out.
another question is, whoever ends up getting your project, there'll probably be at least 5 teams that get your project.
Yeah.
How do you want them to contact you for further questions?
Any social media works for us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, is good. Emailing us, it's Dylan or Connor at Boardwalk PTBO. Either one works fine. Those kinds of things. We'll leave Sophie some cards so whoever gets it can have our information there as well.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's tough, and you got to figure out creative solutions for them based on your questions. So you want to think of questions that might help you and how you are going to find a creative solution. Because everyone here is already on all the platforms. They need to rise it up. Come on up, Chicky. So we happen to be friends as well. It was her birthday yesterday. Yes. She's lovely. Okay, over to you.
Okay.
Do you need anything? That's okay, Sarah?
I'm good.
Okay.
I have everything I need.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say for Boardwalk Cafe that they came to my place when I work a 12-hour shift to put on a board game night. I have 3 young kids. I was exhausted. I don't know how they did it. They had me sitting at a table. They taught me a new game I'd never seen before. I was playing in 2 minutes. It was magical. So they really are doing something really fun and amazing, and you kind of have to experience it to get it, and then it's so much fun to go back for more. So I'm Tina. I'm from TinyGreens. Is anyone familiar with my business? Does anybody know me? Okay, a few in the front row here. Okay, so I have to work on that. So my journey, I'm going into my third year of business. I'm kind of like two and a quarter years in. So my business, TinyGreens, I grow microgreens, is how I started my business. I started my business taking my growing product to the farmer's market. So basically, quickly, TinyGreens are the little starts of plants that are very nutritious. They're sought after in the health world, and they're sought after to chefs because they're healthy and delicious, and they taste great. So I was growing these little tiny greens, and I had a lot of demand for people that wanted to buy them, so I got myself into the farmer's market. From there, I moved to the 3 local farmers markets, and then I sell also to restaurants, chefs, resorts, people on healthy food programs or whatever have you. So I grew my business to a certain level at the markets, and I was kind of here. And then I entered a downtown competition called Win This Space. I won that competition, so that gave me kind of like some grant money to start up a brick and mortar location and move my business to the next level. So then I took my TinyGreens, which was my main product that I had already grown, and downtown George Street on the corner of Brock and George, across from Knock on Wood, I opened a location. There's a big green sign. It says TinyGreens Microgreenery. So there we have what we call a downtown urban farm, where it's exposed. When you come in the front doors, you can see our vertical growing, where we grow different varieties of microgreens, little broccolis, kales, pea shoots, wheatgrass for people who juice and drink it. And then in between the front of house and the back of house, we have a plant-based food smoothie and juice bar, where we incorporate some of our greens into that. And then we have our retail area in the front, where we have a little sort of healthy florist area where we sell edible greens, like growing as gift ideas, growing as like little gardens that you'd put in your kitchen that you would cut off and add to your food. Since opening, a lot of people want us to carry healthy plants, so we've brought in succulents, and we have like this DIY sort of do-it-yourself terrarium plant building center. So we've gone in a lot of different directions. This year coming up, we're looking to start getting into more of our educational piece, which is teaching workshops, educating people about growing your own healthy food indoors, as well as like plant-based cooking. So it's really like a big healthy world. So the concept that we've built is we have all these things going on. We're trying to home into our market. We want everybody to think of our place as a healthy hub that you want to come and hang out. We have tables and seating, we have free Wi-Fi, all these things trying to bring in trans students like yourself, downtown business people. So, and we do find we're hitting like a few points where we're working on building our business, and we have our website, which right now I wish had a big picture of my store, but these are my beautiful greens, and they're healthy and delicious and look great. And so we are on our platforms. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but our reach is still hard. So the store's been open now 6 months, going on 7. We have a great storefront location, so we do get a number of walk-in traffic. I have my customers that knew me from the market, my restaurants, the people that know me from winning the downtown competition. They're coming, but we're still finding that our sales have to be higher. We have to be strategic about our different avenues, like that we want to promote to, whether it's our customers or our back-end orders that are moving out to restaurants. And, I feel like I'm not doing that as well as I could, nor sometimes do I have the expertise or the time. I have the Trent bus stop right outside of my store, which is really exciting, but I see so many of you guys like coming and going, and I'm like, hey, I'm in here. So I thought, like, maybe not social media, maybe balloons, maybe like little smoothie samples. So I mean, in that aspect, we're really creative thinkers. We want to really get it set up. We want to find who is our target market, who is not our target market. We definitely, realize that a lot of our target market are health-oriented people, people that want to eat better, health-curious people, people with health issues that are coming to us because it's now important for them to learn to eat more healthy. We are like 99.9% vegan. We offer cream for milk because we know that's really important to a lot of people. So that makes us not 100% plant food based. But it's more important to me, like I'm very proud that it's so largely vegan, but the emphasis to me, the feeling of my cafe, my home, my store, is that we really want it to be about healthy and delicious. We want to be about making food fun, making the journey of finding eating fun, rather than, like full of guilt or hardship or giving so anyway, so we're trying to, the feeling of our company is really this great energy where it feels good to come in the door, it feels healthy and fun, you want to hang out, but we're still kind of struggling social media wise, truthfully. And I know we have a large base of women. Women is definitely, university and trend students is a large market. I have some very well-dressed men that come in. I have a small section of well-dressed men that come in. But yes, they're delightful. They come alone. I don't know. I don't know. So anyways, yeah. So I guess that's what I can say about my TinyGreens. If so I'll take questions.
Questions?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. You and then you.
Yeah, have you explored festivals like the Vegan Fest or things like that?
Yeah, we try to outreach. The garden show is also good for us. We did the vegan food fair, the vegetarian food fest, and I mean that was dynamic. When we do get out, we get a lot of great response. We bring our advertising. So yeah, we try to in balance of not taking on too much, but trying to reach out to different audiences for sure.
You mentioned that you are struggling with the social media side of things. Is that from lack of attempt, or have you attempted to promote certain posts? Or
I'm just
curious.
So maybe struggle is the wrong word. Like I'm out there, I'm doing it. I like to take a lot of time to think about my words, what I'm going to say, because I think that's really important, and it takes up a ton of time to say it in the voice that I want to say it. So maybe some of it is just I'm finding it difficult with the amount of time that it takes, and then even knowing for sure am I saying the right things to attract you. I find people will tell me they love me all the time, they love what I'm doing, they think it's so great, they want to get in, they want to see this downtown urban farm. People will cheer and love me, but it doesn't mean that they'll ever come in my door. One person told me I was their hero, and actually she was my hero, but she still doesn't come through my door. And because people are busy, so it's like making that connection to someone.
Who was it? We'll get them in.
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Yeah, so like that connection from even them really liking you, loving you, liking you, and sharing you, to coming through your door is two totally different machines.
So when you post on social media, you get a good response, but it doesn't translate.
They're all coming. I open my doors, they show up early. They all said they were going to come at 8. I show up at 8, no one's there. Yeah. Yes.
When you say you're looking and finding out what your target market is, what kind of research are you doing into that?
I watch who comes into my store every day. I listen. My customers love to talk to me. I feel like I'm the TinyGreens bartender. Like they really tell me what they like, what they don't like, who their friend is, why their friend wants to come. So it's really at this point, I haven't done any online studies or paid for any advertising to find out. It's more just sort of paying attention. Like that's what I've always done from the beginning. I showed up at the farmer's market and I talked to people from 7 to 1 and they all told me what they wanted, and now I'm here, right? So a lot of really listening, but I could definitely expand that. Yes?
You said you had local restaurants using your products in their kitchens. Have you ever reached out to them to get them to tag you and show you off on their social medias if they use, maybe showing off a dish that they used your plants in?
Yeah, I always try to, and I always encourage it. We do that back and forth. Sometimes you kind of do it and then it works for a little bit and then it kind of wears off. And I would like to do that more with my customers. Like my customers that come in raving, I would love to them to tweet and share them, or I guess maybe in that aspect I'm a little shy. Like I never want to step over my, I have this person that said the most amazing thing. If I could just get them to say that online, then everybody would rush through my doors. But so sometimes I even wonder if it's even just like a closing the sale type of thing when it comes to people. Yes?
So you said you, I guess, engaged some of your customers in actual, like, back and forth active conversation. When you said they're not coming into your store, are you kind of attracting them with incentivized, like, initiatives with coupons or pictures, or is it just more like an education?
Well, the people that I'm talking to, I'm saying those are the people coming into my store. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people coming into my store. I've been open 6 months now. I was gonna have some like special to do for the 2000s customer that came through my door, but I didn't catch it quick enough. I'm like, oh, I'm over 2,000. So I guess it's gonna have to be 3,000 or 4,000 customer. And even at the farmer's market is a great source of free advertising that we're always giving out coupons and incentives, and that's bringing people in. Like often but it's the people that haven't come in.
I guess have you mobilized that on like any of your social media platforms for the ones that are actively involved but kind of missing that last step to come in? Have you?
I could do that better, yes.
That would be a good solution. Yeah.
Yes.
You've made a point that people are busy and they don't come to your shop. Is there a possibility that some of your like juices and stuff can be packaged? Would that be some way that maybe you would consider to create more exposure to who you are?
Yes, and that's one thing, like, I mean, I kind of, the vision that I've grown for my business, I'm moving into phase 2 now, which will include packaged foods and packaged juice programs, and so like CSA, microgreen programs, so starting to move things out for people that don't have a lot of time. Yes?
Have you thought of online, like selling your products online?
We want to move things online too. I mean, with that being involved is kind of also getting ready to get everything like packaged and set up the way it's required to. But that's definitely also a movement that we want to make. Yes.
Where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years?
Woo! Everywhere.
That's
yeah.
scary. There's Tina. Oh, there's Tina. No, there's Tina.
I don't know. Well, people will walk into my store, total strangers, and it really takes me off guard how many times somebody will ask me if my place is a franchise, because you only ask that to a certain kind of person, a certain kind of store, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I see that we're growing. I see that we're completing a complete picture of healthy lifestyle and fun, and it's something new. So I hope to see myself successful and somewhere great. Is that the last question? Maybe just you.
One more question. Is it just you running the operation, or do you have anyone helping you, employees, or?
So I have a very helpful husband and 3 children, and I have 1 staff member that I'm looking to like increase as we grow. I have people that come in and offer to volunteer because they want to be part of my healthy environment. My team does have to grow. I have a lot of the business community that's been really supportive to me. So, I mean, I'm trying to build my team as I can.